Okay, I know that everyone at some age or another has wanted to be an astronaut, and why the hell not? Go up and land on the moon with NASA, or try to go to Mars and build a colony there so we can survive once we wipe out Earth's resources, cause yeah, it's gonna happen. And I mean, it was already confirmed earlier this year that we aren't alone and that aliens do exist. What a shocker, I knew this from the beginning. Now, the universe is huge, I always knew other life forms were out there, and they've been sending us messages for decades, so we've been new for a while now. What is up, you guys? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Eamon Hassan and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be preparing for launch with the top 10 scary messages from outer space. And yes, I know that line was the worst one yet, whatever. Now before I get into it though, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Stellaris Galaxy Command for sponsoring this video. So I just got a new phone and I've been looking for cool apps to download and came across this one, so I was like, yes. This game is releasing on iOS and Android operating systems in the next few days, and as a huge space nerd, I was like, tell me more. So Paradox Interactive have taken their hugely popular game Stellaris and made one for the phone. You can have your own orbital space station and level it up, add things to it, help reconstruct the empire, etc. There's actually so many cool things to look forward to, like the new sci-fi tech that's gonna be in it, the spaceship battles, but my favorite feature is definitely alliances. It basically makes the gameplay so much more personal because you need to make alliances, and every single action you do, or they do, or your rivals do affects the map. Your decisions of expanding or trading will have consequences for other real world players. It's so cool, and if you're interested, you can also use the code TOP10 to get a bunch of free bonuses like 200 credits, 144 speed ups, and 5 flagship materials. You're welcome. Starting us off with number 10 is the pattern. So this news actually came out at the start of this year when researchers who are part of the Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment put together a paper based on data from their radio telescope. Now from September 16th, 2018 to October 30th, 2019, they recorded 28 fast radio bursts from a spiral galaxy. Now I'm about to go Jimmy Neutron in this place and explain some scientific concepts to you. So fast radio burst is a radio pulse that lasts anywhere from a fraction of a millisecond to 2 to 3, and they occur due to a high energy process that we are yet to discover. Now the telescope recorded an FRB every 16 days, which is the first time we've recorded a pattern of messages from outer space. The cycle would include the burst coming through for a 4-day intense flurry, with the signal being recorded every hour to then nothing for 12 days. Pretty sure it's an intelligent civilization somewhere out there trying to send us a message. I mean, what else could explain it? The researchers have pinpointed the source to a huge spiral galaxy about 500 million light years away from us, but that's still the closest signal we've had in a long time. Some believe that FRBs must be coming from a binary system because other objects in space have done the same thing. The source could be swinging around a black hole or a star, and that's what's causing the pattern to be like that, but I don't really know. Coming in at number 9 is power. So continuing on the whole concept of FRBs, we need to talk about the Lorimer burst. Back in 2001, astronomers discovered the first ever FRB, and they named it the Lorimer burst. It lasted for a total of not even 5 milliseconds and came from about 5 to 11 million light years away, meaning when it was emitted or released, Earth hadn't even formed yet. Mind blown. Either way, within those 5 milliseconds, this FRB released so much energy that the sun couldn't even release that much in 4 months, let alone 5 milliseconds. That just spooks me the hell out, because for us mere mortals, the sun is one of the strongest things in our world, and for this signal to be stronger than the sun, well, I'm kind of super interested to know where on Earth it came from, or not on Earth it came from. At number 8 we have the burnt cosmonaut, and believe me when I say the story is actually more dramatic than a title I gave it. So back in 1960, the Utica Cordelia brothers were working as amateur radio operators when they heard something they think was from the Soviet space program, which is really important because in the 60s the Soviet Union refused to disclose a lot of the deaths of their cosmonauts. Forget disclosing it, they would straight up hide it or lie about it. They'd be like, oh, there were no people on that spacecraft to begin with, so who cares if it imploded? Everyone? Anyway, fast forward to November of that year when they caught the SOS signal of a woman returning to Earth's orbit, and from the recording you can tell that the spacecraft is malfunctioning in some way, like something just isn't right. The woman says the words "I'm hot" in Russian before the spacecraft goes up in flames. How haunting would hearing that be? It would scar anyone for life. And when confronted, the Russians claimed it was an unmanned craft that got burned. There was not a single mention of this woman, who the brothers straight straight up heard die. Filling at number 7 slot are the blinking stars. I feel like stars blink all the time. Now I barely see any in the city because of the lights and the pollution, but they're always like twinkling, literally almost blinking at you. My favorite constellation, not that you guys asked, but that I'm gonna tell you anyway, is for sure Orion's belt. You know, the 3 stars in a row. I've always loved that one. Now, anyway, back in 2016, a group of Canadian astronomers saw 234 stars that were all blinking together at the same time. 234. That is not a small number by any means. Now, the guy who made the discovery, Eric Trottier, believes it happened because of aliens, and I mean, I do agree with him. He believes aliens are pointing a laser in our direction, and that laser is causing a difference in the light of these stars and how we see them. And if that theory doesn't make sense to you, then swallow this one. Maybe every single one of these stars is a separate civilization, and they're working together in an effort to talk to us. That is a great team effort, I'm not gonna lie. Kudos to you. Now number 6 is the black hole. I've always been fascinated with black holes. I mean, I've always heard that if a human entered one, our atoms would stretch exponentially and then we'd just cease to exist. I mean, would that hurt? Like, if we survived, would we just pop out the other end of it? I need answers. Either way, back in 2011, Edward Morgan worked as an X-ray data collector at MIT, and he collected data on this far, far black hole. Morgan then transmitted it into a sound that even us mere mortals can hear, because in reality, the sound is so deep and low that the human ear cannot pick it up. Dog and cat ears maybe, but not us. Now, the sound itself sounds like anything that entered that black hole would immediately be sucked into the ether, never to be heard from again. Like, it's crazy. Now let's have a listen. The tiny skips you can hear are actually the infrared jets coming out of the hole. Like, why can we hear this black hole and not others? What is this hole trying to tell us? Coming in at number 5 is the roar. Yup, you best believe there's a galactical kraken out there that let out the roar of its ancestors. Well, not really, but that would be a freaking good story. So during the 213th meeting of the American Astronomical Society, they discussed a super loud signal that they had heard. And I know we've mentioned loud or strong messages and signals in this list, but this one may be the loudest. In 2006, when they heard the roar, it was 5 times louder than any of their predictions. This roar they heard was 6 times bigger than all combined radio wave sources ever. Raw indeed. And number 4 is frequency 4462.3, also known as our closest chance. Now, the really interesting thing about this signal is the fact that its source is a star, and it's been the closest source to us that we actually have on this list. The star is called TYC 1220911, and it's only 100 light years away from us. I know I'm saying only like it's 2 minutes away, I get it's far, but it's the closest one to us on the list. Now, the star sent a 10-second signal that scientists picked up on and were very interested in. They believe that it must be another civilization or aliens trying to grab our attention because of the proximity of the star and how close they really are. They're basically our neighbors. They're probably sending us a signal like, do you have spare milk? Did not get groceries today. If they even drink milk, I don't know. Now, filling at number 3 slot is the wow signal, which sounds a bit like an advert for Signal toothpaste, to be fair. Wow signal, buy it for $3 today. But that was a tangent, the story has nothing to do with toothpaste. Now, back in 1977, the telescope at Ohio State University detected a signal coming from the Sagittarius constellation. And after you hear the audio, it literally feels like some alien got a hold of an ASMR microphone and is just breathing into it real heavy. Now, the signal lasted 72 hours, and it perplexed the staff so much that they wrote wow in the margin of the paper the signal was recorded on, hence the name. Now, number 2 is SHG 602 plus 14A. Again, not the name of Elon Musk's other child, but let's not put it past him, shall we? So that long name was what scientists labeled the source of this radio signal that they had discovered. But here's the weird part. The signal seemed to be coming from empty space. Like, yes, they tracked it further and found that it was coming from this area between the Aries and Pisces constellations. However, there had been no stars or planets near the source for 1,000 years, so it's like, where the hell is it coming from? Now, the signal came at us at 1420 megahertz, which is significant because hydrogen takes energy at that frequency, and it's the most commonly found element in our universe. This is a big deal because scientists have thought to use hydrogen to contact extraterrestrial life before, so the fact we received a signal at this frequency is insane. Someone could be trying to contact us this very second, and I'm too busy doing a top 10 video about it. Well, not this very second, probably way in the past now, and they've probably forgotten they've even tried, but still. And finally, at number 1 is the CASSINI-HUYGENS mission, or HUYGENS, not really sure. Now this mission was a collaboration between NASA and the European Space Agency, and it launched the first ever spacecraft to enter Saturn's orbit, which is a pretty big feat if you ask me. Now in 2002, the spacecraft recorded Saturn's aurora, which is caused by the planet's strong magnetic fields. And obviously we can't hear the signal ourselves, since that's one of the many shortcomings of being human, so the university lowered the signal dramatically so we could hear it too, and it sounds scary as hell, like straight out of a horror movie scary. And that is it for today's video, guys. Space, it do be large and vast, you know? Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and also let me know if you end up downloading Solaris. I have it too, so maybe we can play together. As always, I've been your host, Eamon Hassan, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!